Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Man, I sure am excited to see Wonder Woman 3. Surely nothing bad is going to happen to the production of Wonder Woman 3. Henry Cavill coming back as Superman is really exciting too. Surely there's nothing in the news to say otherwise. Oh. Hi, Travis. I didn't see you there.
But you sure heard me.
What are your thoughts on the upcoming major motion picture Wonder Woman 3 and a potential Man of Steel 2 starring Henry Cavill?
I'm so excited for them, as all of my previous statements have led you to suggest.
Oh, hey, I just got a notification from the Hollywood Reporter. This shouldn't be anything major. Hello, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast. Yeah, and scene. Your source for nerddom news and commentary. I am your host and headmaster, Jarod Bachman-Stubbs, and joining me, as always, is your resident Green Lantern Professor, Travis Grossman.
That was the hardest yes and I've ever had to do.
To pretend to be excited for DC movies?
Yeah.
I love that every couple weeks your like profound skepticism about anything to do with DC is reaffirmed with something wild. But again, I think on the whole this may be a good omen. We will get into that.
Honestly? Yeah.
It's complicated, it's weird, and we're going to talk about all of it. But before we jump into the news, you guys know the drill. We have a word from our lovely sponsors, the great folks at Sunday's Bloody Mary. You guys know the drill. SundaysBloodyMary.com has the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement in the universe, in the multiverse even. Their two-time award-winning spicy Bloody Mary mix is my favorite. They also have their mild and traditional mixes if you're not into the spicy, and the traditional is also vegan-friendly if I'm not mistaken. They also have their pickled dilly beans, okra, and asparagus, as well as some rim salt in the way of garnishes and some really cute apparel too. They also have their holiday bundle available in their shop. So you guys go on out there, get onto sundaysbloodymary.com/shop. Use code TNAP, TNAP at checkout and get 10% off your order. And you help out your favorite nerds while you do it. Travis, how you doing, buddy?
Took my first final this morning.
How go that?
Good. 46 out of 50. Ooh. I never have to see that dog shit class again.
Which one was that?
Criminal Justice 101.
I knew it. I knew from the contempt in your voice which one it was.
It's been a lovely time. I'm glad I never have to do anything like that again.
Oh, I'm happy for you, and I'm proud of you.
In my defense, it was pitched. It's listed twice in the directory. It's listed under criminal justice, but it's also listed under sociology. And when my advisor was like, here's some classes you can take for electives, it was under the sociology tab.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, this might be like a real class. No,
just propaganda for
an
hour once every couple of days a week. Well, I'm very proud of you. You've been working hard. You busting ass. And I'm trying to think. Do I have like a round of applause type of clip? I don't.
I've also put like 80 hours into Pokemon, so priorities.
So how's that been? I know that's been a glitchy nightmare for a lot of people.
If if you put aside frame rate and graphics and not really bug, like the only real bug is the crashing, and I've only had it crash like 3 or 4 times. I say only, but if you put that over here, the game's like a 9.5. It's like the best Pokemon experience they've ever made. And then if you include all of that in, it's probably like an 8.
Okay.
Like if you're someone that's like gets motion sick because of frame rate stuff, maybe it's a
Maybe
problem.
steer
But
clear.
yeah, because like it runs pretty slow. People do this when they move sometimes. Yeah, no, I loved every minute of it. I think it's one of the best Pokemon games they've ever made.
Excellent. Awesome.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it. I've been on the fence. So you're helping steer me towards it. We will have some more video game talk later in the episode. We are going to talk about the Game Awards, as my name implies. But first things first, we have while I was writing the show notes, I almost got tempted to like search through our Google Drive to see how many times I've typed out the words DC bombshell.
It might be in the double digits.
It might just be. It might be, especially considering like the back quarter of this year, just because there's been a lot going on with everybody, has not been as plentiful in the way of content as we'd like it to be. I still think it's in the double digits, considering that. But this is going to be one of those instances we're going to be reading from the article for a little bit. So buckle up. Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3 not moving forward as DC movies hit turning point. This is an exclusive from Hollywood Reporter from Boris Kitt. Call it DC Rebirth or DC Genesis, maybe call it Identity Crisis or Flashpoint. These titles of past DC Comics events, comic event series aptly describe the state of Warner Brothers DC movies, which are on the cusp of a new era, but not before a potentially messy transitional period. A cleaning of the slate is common when a new executive team is put in place to run a studio or division, but there is likely little precedent for the amount of Clorox James Gunn and Peter Safran could spray as they prepare to launch DC Studios and guide superhero movies for the next half a decade and beyond. The duo in recent days flew back to Los Angeles from the snowy city of Aspen, Colorado, where they huddled in deep planning and now, like holy figures coming down from the mountaintop, have a set of commandments or a DC Bible in hand, or at least a working blueprint. Gunn and Safran are expected to meet next week with David Zaslav, the Warner Brothers Discovery CEO, who is radically reshaping the media company and who hired the duo in October to lead a newly launched film and TV division. The pair will unveil to Zaslav a plan that is expected to lay out their vision. Although much of their plan, which insiders paint is still a work in progress, and one that is yet to be approved, is being kept deep within the Batcave. Details of several possible paths forward are trickling out, and at least one path not being taken has also been revealed. Multiple sources tell The Hollywood Reporter that Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3 is not moving forward and is considered dead in its current incarnation. Sources say that Jenkins recently submitted her treatment, co-written with Jeff Johns, and that Gunn and Safran, as well as Warner Brothers Pictures co-chairs and co-CEOs Michael DeLuca and Pamela Adby, broke the news to the filmmaker, telling her the project, as it stood, did not fit within the new but still unfolding plans. Jenkins directed and co-wrote the previous two Wonder Woman movies starring Gal Gadot and released in 2017 and 2020. No decision has been made about the next steps. And while costs are not a factor, insiders say that DC Studios will not have any overburdensome financial restrictions. The studio could end up saving tens of millions of dollars by not making the third installment. Gadot, according to sources, was on track for a $20 million payday for Wonder Woman 3, while Jenkins would have received $12 million. Those figures don't include any possible back-end bonuses. Warner Brothers has no comment. It is unclear how any future Wonder Woman movie and Gadot's portrayal of the hero would fit into the new plan for DC. In a bit of head-scratching timing, Godot tweeted out of the blue a thank you to fans Tuesday. She was grateful to be allowed to play the heroine and the role model, adding, "I can't wait to share her next chapter with you." It was unclear whether or not the actress knew the project was being toe-tagged. The rest of the DC slate remains in flux, at least, or at least is being kept deep in pocket of Gunn's own utility belt. But there are several rumors and possible scenarios to consider ahead of next week's meeting. The first, which builds on the shuttering of Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3, is the closing curtain of the Snyderverse and the heroes cast by filmmaker Zack Snyder for his Justice League. Again, we need a round of applause sound. I'm kidding. Only a little bit. This one sees the shutting down of Man of Steel 2 with returning Henry Cavill and having no more Aquaman fronted by Jason Momoa. These characters are to cameo in Flash, the highly anticipated time travel adventure movie that is due to release June 16th. Lol. Cavill shot his part of the cameo in September, but sources say there is debate inside the studio as to whether or not to keep the cameo, and if its conclusion promises something that the studio would have no plans on delivering. Warner's insider cautions that no plans have been finalized and the Flash remains as an unlocked picture. The Cavill situation is more than a little bit thorny, as the actor made a cameo in Black Adam, the DC-centric movie released in October. The Monday after the movie opened, Cavill posted a video on Instagram where he announced, "I wanted to make it official. I am back as Superman." And at that time, he was not incorrect. Warner Brothers was indeed developing a sequel for 2013's Man of Steel and actively meeting with writers Andy Muschietti, who directed Flash, even expressed interest in standing behind the camera for something that would have brought a tone similar to the hopeful and heroic colors of the 1978 movie directed by Richard Donner, considered a benchmark in comic book movies. Also, happy birthday to Superman the movie. In fact, the current leadership team, Warner Brothers, Michael DeLuca and Pamela Adby, did desire one more go-around of the Snyderverse heroes, possibly even having another Justice League movie with those actors.
No, go on.
But that was before Gunn and Safran began formulating their own and still in flux plan. Also unlikely is a sequel to Black Adam. Despite the hype surrounding the movie of launching a new corner of DC, a lot of it led by star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the movie has only grossed $380 million worldwide, and insiders at the studio say the movie, which cost more than $190 million. I'm sorry, I can't speak today.
It made $385 and cost $190 billion to make.
Yes, it was a very, very, very expensive movie.
It cost 5 Twitters.
It cost 5 Twitters.
Closer to 4, actually, I think. Can we start using Twitters as a metric of price? How many Twitters will that be?
That's funny. Let's try that again. Movie only grossed $385 million worldwide, and insiders at the studio say the movie cost more than $190 million to produce. Two sources actually pegged the cost at $230 million, not including marketing. We'll be lucky to break even considering ancillary revenue. Even if the movie does not eke out a minimal profit, any follow-ups, inherent rising costs dim the prospect of a sequel. Johnson hoped to carve out his own piece of the DC pie, but multiple sources say his playing up of a returning Cavill and his own involvement with DC may not be endearing him to new management. Johnson and Cavill are both managed by Danny Garcia, who is also Johnson's producing partner. The perception of Adam turning a profit or not is a conflagration and now being waged in public, with Johnson tweeting the movie would net over $50 million. With the Variety story said the movie would lose over $50 million theatrically. Momoa, meanwhile, could emerge as a pivotal figure in the new plans. According to several sources, in one scenario, the actor could wrap up his days as underwater hero Arthur Curry with The Lost City, due out on Christmas Day 2023, which would be the final movie release that was made by the previous regime. But it would not spell the end of the actor's involvement with DC, with sources saying that the actor would lead another movie or franchise. The character of Lobo, a foul-mouthed cigar-chomping intergalactic bounty hunter, has been mentioned in connection with Momoa. Whether or not Momoa does play everybody's favorite Bastich Lobo emerging as a rising character early on in conversation may point to the kinds of characters that Gunn and Safran may be focusing on. Character is an outsider, an anti-hero, and is keeping in line with Gunn's specialty for taking the offbeat and quirky and flipping it into a crowd-pleasing favorite. Part of the plan could entail a truly fresh start and having no baggage from any previous regimes as they set about resetting how DC movies and shows are made. That, however, does not take into account the possibility of success of movies like Shazam: Fury of the Gods, which is due out March 17th, 2023, on which Safran is a producer, and Blue Beetle, which got a release date this week and a poster, which is due out August 18th, 2023. That plan would include forging ahead without the actors who inhabit those characters and recast them, even if those movies prove to be box office hits. Or would that plan include forging ahead, even if those movies are hits? Observers are convinced rather, the plan calls for an interconnected story universe, and there is rumblings of the establishment of a creative brain trust. The brain trust may already be rolling in some capacity. Sources say that Safran had in recent weeks a meeting with writers at his Los Angeles home in an effort to hone the presentation, gathering feedback and ideas for the plan. One part that the Gunn Safran agenda seems likely to not touch, at least for now, is the Matt Reeves Batman universe, in which Robert Pattinson dons the cape and cowl. Reeves is writing the sequel to The Batman, which opened March 4th. Filmmakers also overseeing the launch of 2 Batman series and the spinoff of his movie, including Penguin. Tangentially related to that, production on Joker Folie Deux began this week as well.
Fantastic.
And then just a brief follow-up from THR. James Gunn calls Superman a huge priority and debunks speculations about his feelings towards Henry Cavill. James Gunn is taking a fun look back at a classic cinematic take on Superman while simultaneously helping to map out the storied superhero's path. Pardon me. The new co-chair and co-CEO of DC Studios took to Twitter on Saturday to commemorate the 44th anniversary of Richard Donner's Superman, the seminal comic book film, which hit theaters December 10th, 1978, and went on to earn 3 Oscar nominations and help mark Christopher Reeve's star-making turn in the title role. When asked when Superman would be coming back to the big screen, Gunn responded, "Yes, of course. Superman is a huge priority, if not the biggest priority." He also replied to a tweet asking about Green Lantern content by writing, "Important." Travis, he's important. Take that into consideration. It's coming. He then made it clear that Ryan Reynolds hasn't planned to return to the character. And when a Twitter user said that Reynolds was intending to reprise the role for filmmaker Zack Snyder, Gunn added, quote, "He wasn't." Gunn also responded on a different Twitter thread.
He's not long for this job.
Gunn also responded on a different Twitter thread to a fan who tweeted that Gunn does not like Henry Cavill. The actor returned to Superman in a mid-credit cameo during the fall's Black Adam after an absence from the role since Snyder's 2017 Justice League. Or 2020 Justice League, whatever way you want to, or 2021 rather. When asked to comment on that Dame about his feelings toward, or the claim rather, the claim about his feelings towards Cavill, Gunn wrote, "Sure, false." So, yeah, we also had James Gunn respond to the initial Hollywood Reporter article. He said, and again, this is in Gunn's words, "I have no reason to disbelieve Gunn. Anytime Gunn sees something about his own project circulating in the trades, he weighs in on it and will shoot it down or confirm it." And he said there's some stuff in there that's true, some stuff in there that is, kind of almost there, and some stuff that is very much not true. Does that mean the Hollywood Reporter is lying? No, it means that they have a couple bad sources who are incorrect, and there is a big difference between lying and being wrong. But all of that said, Travis, thoughts?
When was that Hollywood Reporter article released?
That Hollywood Reporter article, like the first one about Wonder Woman.
The one that said that James Gunn was going to have a meeting with Zaslav soon.
That was released on the 7th.
Okay, they haven't
So
had
on
their
Wednesday.
meeting yet. That's important because here's the timeline. I think DC's problem right now. Do you know what spaghetti code is?
I've heard this term before.
It's the idea that if when you have like a program, like a computer program, that because you've made so many changes, like scrambling in and around the code, that like if you move one thing here, everything over here is going to fall apart. Just randomly. Like for some reason, this line over here messes with this whole operation up here.
Yeah.
And no one knows how any of it works because you've just made so many changes to it over time. I think that's where DC's at right now. And they not being Gunn, they really want to make something out of what they had. And I'm using had in past tense. They want to forge forward with this kind of established thing they have that clearly isn't working. Like, just monetarily speaking, isn't working. And James Gunn, and they brought James Gunn on because he had the one thing that worked in recent years. And he looked and went, guys, we can't. Guys. We can reestablish these actors. Like, scrap all of it, start fresh, keep the actors. You could do that. Realistically, right? Like, he's not scrapping Wonder Woman 3 because he hates Gal Gadot or Patty Jenkins. He's scrapping Wonder Woman 3 because this universe is a goddamn mess and the movie wouldn't make sense. If your goal is to build a greater universe. He's not scrapping Man of Steel, and that's assuming any of that is true, right? He's not scrapping Man of Steel 2 because he hates Henry Cavill or his portrayal of Superman or because he hates Superman. He's scrapping it because what's he gonna do? He's died and come back, and now we're getting character development. Like,
I will say, just to interject real quick, just to make sure. Again, other reporting is on the record as well. There are other reports. I'm reading from the GameSpot article right now that claims that Patty Jenkins was kind of the one to do like a "you can't fire me, I quit" type situation. DC fans have had a bumpy week with the revelation that Wonder Woman 3 is not moving forward, plus a slew of other potential updates. Now, The Wrap is reporting Wonder Woman's current state isn't so cut and dry. Let me get to that Wrap article. Patty Jenkins walked off the project exclusive. In an exchange with, so many ads. In an exchange with studio chief Mike DeLuca, the Wonder Woman 1984 filmmaker, sent him the dictionary definition of character arc as a ball spike on the way out, apparently. Hollywood was stunned by the news this week that Warner Brothers Discovery would not move forward with Wonder Woman 3. I keep wanting to call it 1993. I keep almost calling it 1993 for no reason. But in fact, it was Patty Jenkins who directed the first two films in the superhero series who walked off the project after rejecting studio notes. Multiple individuals have told The Wrap. Jenkins' exit came as James Gunn and Peter Safran have been getting settled into their new roles as co-CEOs of DC Films and are busy plotting out an extensive multi-year plan for DC Films in television and games. They will present to Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav this week. Although Gunn and Safran have,
you'll have to give me 1 second.
been given a mandate.
I don't have audio. It's on my end. I'm
Okay.
futzing with my earbuds and stuff. Keep talking.
Okay. Although Gunn and Safran have given a mandate to reshape the DC landscape, Warner Bros. Discovery has ongoing enterprises that nobody was going to mess with, according to one insider. This includes Matt Reeves writing the sequel to The Batman, J.J. Abrams' Black-led Superman from Ta-Nehisi Coates, and Todd Phillips' Joker 2, with Patty Jenkins doing Wonder Woman 3. Last week, Jenkins turned in her treatment for Wonder Woman 3 to the studio, according to insiders. Warner Brothers Film Group co-chairperson and CEOs Michael DeLuca and Pamela Adby didn't think the treatment worked and decided to not move forward with the film in its current iteration. Gunn and Safran, who had nothing to do with this decision, also agreed with DeLuca and Adby that the treatment didn't work. Lucas spoke to Jenkins first and communicated that they didn't get the treatment, didn't think it was the right direction for the franchise, and asked Jenkins if she would consider pitching something else for the IP in another direction. Bye, Travis. Love you. According to one insider, Jenkins refused to let DeLuca and Adby know that they were wrong and that they didn't understand her and didn't understand the character, didn't understand character arcs, and didn't understand what Jenkins was trying to do. To underscore her point, according to the first insider, Jenkins sent an email to DeLuca that ended with the link to the Wikipedia definition of a character arc.
All right, we're good. I had to leave and come back.
Excellent. Welcome back.
I think I got most of the gist.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if this article includes anything that was in the treatment. Yeah, no. There was like a viral tweet going around about like the Lazarus pit. I'm pretty sure that the tweet was a joke. Where like Steve Trevor got Lazarus pitted, but then like was used by the League of Assassins, and then the movie ends with like Steve Trevor becoming like an Argus agent working for Waller.
That's quite the arc.
That's character arc. But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to say, according to some reporting, Patty Jenkins was not fired; she quit, and got angry about how things shook out there. I can't say much on the matter, but this does not sound dissimilar to what I have an understanding of what happened with Rogue Squadron. That the ideas that were being kicked around weren't up to snuff in many ways. So this is all kind of tracking by the sound of things from the limited information I have on that matter. But yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that was clarified. But I think, again, that lends towards what Gunn tweeted about. There's a lot of stuff in there that's like almost there. I think, yeah, Wonder Woman 3 isn't moving forward because Patty quit. I did not personally fire Patty Jenkins.
Yeah, I don't think if any of these decisions have been made on Gunn's part, it's not like out of personal malice towards any.
What?
And just seeing your face and not hearing the sound made it funnier.
Well, to our video watchers, I hope me hacking up along was entertaining for you as it was for Travis.
But yeah, like I said, I don't, clearly he doesn't have anything against Henry Cavill. And again, all you need to do is say, hey, we're starting fresh. We're keeping all these people you like, but we're going to make good movies. Done. Now, the reason I say the date was important was that based on every decision Zaslav has made so far, when they have their meeting and Gunn pitches, hey, I have this fresh slate. We're going to start new. We're dropping the spaghetti code and we're making an entire new program. We're going to get an article that says James Gunn was fired. So in approximately, it's Monday. I'm going to give it by Thursday. If they have that meeting this week, James Gunn does not have a job with Warner Brothers Discovery anymore.
You think so? Really?
Listen.
I mean, I know you're mostly trolling, but like...
At this point, I'm like 50-50. Because I can imagine him going up to Zaslav and being like, hey, man, there's nothing here. Like, Black Adam barely cut it. Look at the 3 movies they have left. They have Shazam, which will do fine. Maybe a little better than Black Adam. Black Adam had The Rock. So, we have Shazam. It's going to do okay. It'll break even at worst, We have The Flash, which is going to do about as well as you could hope.
I mean, who knows what happens with The Flash, though? Who knows what happens? Because, like I don't know. Anything could happen. You have the firebrand that is Ezra Miller and all of the baggage that comes with them. But, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to expect from The Flash. Also, there's reports going around that like a Batman Beyond movie got canned that was
I
supposed to
saw
be kind
that.
of
Yeah,
in
that like
tandem with the Flash, but
Keaton was going to be coming back as a Batman lead, but as Beyond or something. I don't know if any of that's true.
the thing that people like Michael Keaton should come back for a Batman Beyond movie is like
has been
it,
kicking around for
it's
like
been
a decade.
yeah, it's been kicking around just as long as casting John Wick is casting Keanu is like any vaguely action heavy character in anything ever.
Yeah. I will. So the paths I see with Flash on this tangent, either it comes out, does horribly, and everyone realizes that this was just a big mistake. It comes out and does well because everyone gets really curious because of what like all the story going on with this movie. They're like, is Ezra Miller a tortured artist? Was this worth it? DC, I need to know. Um, or I there is a world. It exists because the multiverse is a thing, right? Where Gunn convinces Zaslav we need to start fresh, and they can the Flash.
Do you think they do it?
It would take
I don't
the
think a movie
stars.
with 3 different fucking versions of Batman in it. I think they're
It's
banking
it's
on
like
that
a
making money.
it's like a 1% chance. It's not going to make money. It's like a 1% chance.
Fascinating take.
I
I don't know what to expect. I don't know. I don't know.
Batman cannot save everyone, my friend. He can try his damnedest. 3 of them can try their damnedest. They are not saving Ezra Miller. um I because the whole reason they haven't canned this movie is this has been their plan to like reinstate themselves. Even if Ezra Miller doesn't continue to be the Flash, their whole idea is, well, we're reestablishing our universe with this movie.
Yeah.
If Gunn can convince them that they don't need it, which they don't, like it's gonna suck. It's gonna cost a lot of money. They're gonna have to do a hard reset and build up their trust again with their fan base. You could cut the Flash for loss, like they claim to do with all the other movies.
And allegedly, the directors of Batgirl are allegedly meeting with Gunn and Safran as well. So we'll see what happens there.
So if our goal is to reinstate a DC universe, you don't need the Flash to do it. And if Gunn can convince them of that, they might scrap it. I think. Because the only reason they're keeping it is because of the Affleck and Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot cameos. That's the only reason. And then you have Aquaman, which has Amber Heard problems on its end too. So, like they have. Oh, and Blue Beetle exists.
Yeah.
As a one-off, and anyone telling me they were going to make it into a franchise does not understand how DC works with heroes that aren't Wonder Woman, Superman, or Batman.
Well, here's my take on all of that. Here's my whole thing. You need to start with a blank slate. This needs to start over from scratch. And as much as I don't want to see Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman go, in the same way I didn't want to see Henry Cavill's Superman, and I didn't want to see Batfleck, and I didn't want to see all of these things go, you got to start from scratch. If this is going to be coherent at all, you need to start from the beginning.
So I've seen Gunn mentioned a couple times that like his goal is to keep everyone as happy as possible. That like he wants the Snyder fans to have something in this, which is more than most of them deserve. But
and I think you do that by having the Flash movie be your segue. I think you just do a proper Barry does his floppy little run.
I think you scrap the Flash, start fresh, but keep the actors.
I disagree. I think you Flashpoint reboot everything, including the actors. Start fresh.
Yeah, but that's not what the movie's going to do. The Flashpoint's going to reboot something to where, like, Justice League didn't go the way it went or something.
I mean, listen, I can get down with keeping the actors if necessary, but you may need to make it clear that we are not playing in the same continuity we were.
Yeah.
And
they
pre
can, like, we know they
Flash.
can. We know that, like, we've talked about this with Spider-Verse, right? The general comic book movie going audience has a base knowledge of how comic books work now. Like it's rooted now into film. To try to get that knowledge, if not like by searching it out yourself, someone in your group of friends probably knows or knows where to look. And you don't have to keep, like, Ben Affleck is probably too old to be playing a young spry Batman. If our goal is a reboot, right?
Yeah.
Superman looks the same age all the time. Henry looks fine. He'll do perfect. Gal Gadot looks fine. She'll do perfect, right? These immortal beings of the DC universe don't need to be a specific age. You have to recast the Flash anyway. I'm not gonna lie, man. I saw Jason Momoa as Lobo. I've never needed anything sooner.
Yeah. I agree with that completely. There was no
let him be both. I don't care. Let him be both. I want to see Jason Momoa act with Jason Momoa.
My own misgivings about his recent not even that recent but a brief Twitter debacle. But Patrick Willems made a great point in his Zack Snyder video a month or so ago, where he was talking about, that it is a credit to Zack Snyder that he took the most Aryan looking superhero of all time and like cast a fucking indigenous man. And I really do like Momoa's Aquaman. I do. I think it's a really cool, interesting take on the character. But Jason was kind of born to play Lobo. And people have been saying that from the moment he was cast. So yeah, no, I agree with you. And maybe it's not like a full square one, throw every single baby out with every ounce of the bathwater, but a couple babies need to go.
And plus, DC does best when, like, you do the Star Wars thing, right? Like, DC does terrible when you're setting up, like, from the very beginning stuff, with the exception of, like, Batman Begins. There's exceptions to everything, but DC does so well when they drop you mid-universe because of how much everyone knows Batman's story, everyone knows Superman's story. More people know Wonder Woman's story now. You just get so much more meat in your story when you're not spending so much of that real estate.
Building
and they were shot in the alley. Can you believe it?
In many ways, like if you let these heroes just kind of like have been existing for a minute, you can probably get a Justice League team up a lot sooner. You just need to know how to like make these characters feel like people. And I think the general movie-going audience is like understanding enough of like comic book tropes and mythology that you don't have to start from square one with every single hero. These more obscure cats like your Blue Beetles, yeah, people are going to need like, okay, who the fuck is this guy? But like the Flash has been on TV for like what, 10 goddamn years now? People know how the Flash works.
Look at the Batman, right? There's this, you don't see the Wayne murders, right? I'm not crazy.
You don't see the Wayne murders. They reference it.
Yeah, obviously. They're always in a reference. You can't escape the Wayne murder in a Batman movie, regardless of when it's set. Yeah, I haven't watched the movie since I saw it in theaters. I should change that. I should be watching Batman.
It's so good. It is.
Yeah.
It holds up.
I can imagine.
It holds up even better when you can pause it to pee whenever you like.
That's true. But like that movie does such a good job of explaining where Batman is relative to the city and relative to the cops and like what's happening around him, how he's affected Gotham and how Gotham has affected him back. You don't need a movie beforehand showing him getting established. It drops you in, goes, here's where we're at. We're not going to say it to you. We're going to show you. Like, here's how the Batman is operating currently in Gotham City.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. Right? You can drop into a Superman movie following Clark Kent, and suddenly it's like, oh yeah, he's been Superman for 3 years.
Yeah. Exactly. Also, I just want to interject real quick. My phone lit up with a notification. Apparently, Elon Musk made a surprise appearance at Dave Chappelle's stand-up show last night, and they all got promptly booed.
Sensational.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
Travis, how does it feel for your favorite Marvel movie to have Elon Musk in it?
It does make me happy that the joke is that Tony doesn't give a shit about him. That like,
You know what? Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's also sad that I remember I've seen that movie so many times. I know exactly when he shows up. Like, because there are people that would be like, Elon Musk has been in the MCU.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
he's canon. He got snapped and never came back.
Oh god, I can only I hope everyone talks about the one person that was on a plane and then it materialized in the air. Can that be Elon? Can we all agree that canonically that was Elon?
We can't, because I'm a stickler for canon, and the Russos said
right.
when Hulk did his snap, his like wish, as it were, where everyone is returned safely.
It was Mark Ruffalo though, so we know he would have. Like he was like, and if Jeff or Elon are in a plane somewhere, they don't come back safely. Let them fall.
And what happens to them is between them and God. But anyway, yeah, very exciting stuff coming out of WB Warner. We will see how things shake out. As for the Game Awards, I'm going to run through our winners of the night, and then going to talk about some announcements as well. Best adaptation went to Arcane. Most anticipated game to Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I'm surprised that Harry Potter and the Protocols of the Elders of Zion didn't win. I'm going to spam that joke as many times as I can. Best esports went to Loud of Valorant fame. Best esport game went to Valorant. Best esports event went to 2022 League of Legends World Championship. Levi's ears just started burning. The best esports coach went to Matthias Bizka Tarsaconi. And I knew who that was. Jacob Ye Whitaker won for best athlete. Content creator of the year was Ludwig. Best multiplayer game went to Splatoon 3. Best sim strategy game went to Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope. Best sports/racing game went to Gran Turismo 7. Best family game went to Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Best fighting game went to Multiverses. Best RPG went to Elden Ring. Best action adventure game went to God of War Ragnarok. Best action game went to Bayonetta 3. God of War Ragnarok brought home innovation in accessibility. Best VR game went to Moss Book 2. Best community support went to Final Fantasy 14 Online. Best mobile game went to Marvel Snap, which I'm thinking about giving a try. Best debut indie game went to Stray. Best indie game went to Stray. Best ongoing game went to Final Fantasy 14 Online. Games for Impact went to As Dusk Falls. Best performance went to Mr. Christopher Judge for Kratos in God of War Ragnarok. Best audio design went to God of War Ragnarok. Best score music Bear McCreary for God of War Ragnarok. Best art direction went to Elden Ring. Best narrative God of War Ragnarok. Best game direction Elden Ring. Elden Ring then also brought home Game of the Year. Been meaning to play Elden Ring.
I haven't put enough time into it. I need to. I have put time into God of War Ragnarok, and I'm not surprised Elden Ring won. But its only competition was God of War.
Yes. Running through some of the announcements, we got trailers for Final Fantasy 16, Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Hades 2 was announced. Pardon me. Ken Levine's next game, Judas, has been revealed. Death Stranding 2 was announced. Funny little anecdote from that. Apparently, it was Hideo Kojima rewrote Death Stranding 2 after the COVID-19 pandemic because people kept saying how he predicted the future with Death Stranding, and he didn't want to do it again. Idris Elba joins Cyberpunk 2077 in the Phantom Liberty new gameplay trailer revealed. We have a video I made, or I didn't make this, but I did a video on it. It's on the channel. We got a trailer for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This isn't the Star Wars show, but Travis, your thoughts?
Man, Cal's already a good looking dude. He didn't need the glow up. He didn't need it. They gave it to him. He didn't need it. Same with this game, right? Fallen Order, already a great game. Loved every minute of it. No notes. Why does it look so good? Why does it look so much better? How do you take a 9 to a 12? What is that?
We always joked, especially back in the Dewback days, with like how much Connor glommed on to Fallen Order. But like, I replay this game at least once a year. And I just got to say, I have some notes over time. I kind of developed some opinions on it. Holy shit, this game looks insane. And like my biggest complaint from day one was customization stuff. Like, you can't change Cal's appearance very much. Like, you get different colorways for his jumpsuit, and then you get the different ponchos. But even then, the ponchos are largely the same shape. It's again just a series of colorways. Sure. From what we saw, did you see like the leaked pre-order bonuses?
I saw I didn't see any of those. I saw like the big $300 comes with a lightsaber hilt thing.
Okay, hold on. This is really cool.
Why would you want to change the outfit he's wearing in the trailer? It's perfect.
Well, I mean, it's a great outfit. I just occasionally
that was a joke. I understand the one for customization, but I love his outfit. Like, it's really snazzy.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull up.
It's funny too, because like watching the trailer, I had just finished God of War, like maybe a couple days prior, and so I still had that really hot on the brain and like all the gameplay that goes into God of War. And then watching that, I'm like, oh, I get another one of these next year. Oh,
cool. Okay, here, let me share my screen. Also, 2023 is going to be a big year. We got Jedi Survivor. We get Spider-Man, which also, quick note about Spider-Man.
We get Spider-Man next year. Oh my god!
Apparently, you can wish list it right now in the PlayStation Store, which means something is coming. So buckle up for that. Anyway, so these are the pre-order bonuses. Where this one's called like the Hermit set.
So it's just Luke's.
It's Obi-Wan's.
Obi-Wan, sorry.
So like you get like an actual Jedi tunic here. There's like the robes tucked into like like gauntlets.
Yeah, that's what he's wearing when he's working, right? In Obi-Wan.
No, this is like so it basically looks like it's Obi-Wan's like Attack of the Clones / Phantom Menace outfit, but with like a shortened robe,
Mm-hmm.
or the robe is swooping down here. I can't quite tell what's happening, but so like actual Jedi robes, Obi-Wan's Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones lightsaber, and then this blaster. But it says set and set. So what this says to me is that these are all parts and all of this is modular. So the emitter and maybe like so like you get like the emitter, the switch, the sleeve, and then the pommel will all be different parts. And I think for Cal's blaster, it'll be similar. That you'll be able to take this apart and have like this muzzle, this body, this handle, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then the deluxe edition basically gives you a Han Solo outfit, and then Luke's Yavin like ceremony thing. The stuff to Han's DL-44, again, blaster set. So it's not just a DL-44. You could probably take parts of it and apply it. You also get different BD1 cosmetics. It looks like BD1's cosmetics actually will like change the shape of stuff because his head looks different. This one looks grungy like the Falcon. Obviously, it looks like R2-D2 here. And then there's the Rebel Hero lightsaber set, which looks like just like the Obi-Wan one, you'll be able to take parts of the Skywalker saber and slap it on there. So, like I said, all of that, huge potential for customization, which excites me very much. Like, and again, like the lightsaber customization for Fallen Order, immaculate.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to dress Cal differently. But now knowing how much will be going on with his lightsaber, like from what we see in the trailer, you got single. So it looks like he has officially taken apart the saber staff he builds and has decided to carry it as two separate swords that he can together into a saber staff. So you have what I have always said is like the ultimate cheat code of a lightsaber user is carrying twin sabers, because that way you get single, you can dual wield, you can have a staff, or you can put it together as a staff and only use one blade as a light pike. That's like 4 different fighting styles in one. And then we get the crossguard like Kylo Ren, Stellan Geo's saber at the end. Oh baby.
They didn't need
baby. Huh?
They didn't need to give us that, but they were like, "Hey, what's something that's really cool that everyone really liked?" You know, I remember when everyone else said it wasn't cool, but we were different.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait, dude. I cannot wait. But yeah, so yeah, check out my trailer reaction / here. I'm actually gonna take a picture of the screen so I know I'm gonna put a card up top. Look at me being like a YouTube person. Fucking kill myself. But yeah, them's is the Game Awards. Real quick, before we wrap up, thoughts on the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer?
I didn't watch it till this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also made me remember that there was another Mario trailer that I missed. So I watched that too.
So, okay, hot take on the Mario thing before we go any further. Actually, wait, let me see if I still have that, like... Anyway. I was like, I wonder if I still have that shitty edit I made. Shitty on purpose. Sometimes poor quality is the best quality. I don't think Chris Pratt is that bad a Mario.
I do think it's funny that they are deliberately not putting him in as much of the trailer as possible.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Here's the thing: you need to commit. He's either woohoo Goofy Mario, or he talks normal. There is no in between. And hearing him go, "Okay, let's go," sounds fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like
I haven't seen. I watched the first trailer. I saw a little bit of the clips here and there. I'm avoiding any of the marketing from this point. Like, I'm gonna make up my mind when I see this fucking movie.
Because you hear him speak normally in the movie, and he sounds like it's Chris Pratt doing a Chris Pratt. It's fine. But in like you hear him do it's the same as the in the first teaser where you hear him speak, and it's like he's almost doing an accent, but he's not changing his voice. Right?
Yeah, like you have that brief like, whoa, what is this place? And then like the second like Mushroom Kingdom, here we come. And there's like a just a
So
little
have him
bit, yeah.
have him commit to one, or like at a point in the movie, like he does the wahoo, but nothing else or something. Like it sounds so much worse to have him go, here we go, as opposed to like, here we go, right? Like, yeah, it's goofy, and you can't do that for an hour and a half. I get that. I understand, and I'm willing to accept my defeat in that. It sounds so much worse.
Like I said, I'm waiting until I see the movie to have a full-throated opinion. But keep in mind, folks, I'm the same person who was angry that they changed the Sonic design. For both shitposty and stop harassing artist reasons.
I will say the rest of the movie looks stellar. Like it's gonna be a great. It's gonna be
it's gonna be fantastic. Movie. Yeah.
Guardians. Fine. It doesn't.
I'm really excited for it. I'm really pumped. They're one of the few like character threads we have left post the Infinity Saga. Like most of the MCU roster is made up of like either characters who spent a lot of time on the sideline coming into the forefront, like Bucky and Sam, or it's brand new characters like the rest of them. The only like old heads, truly, I mean, Wakanda Forever in part as well is, like, but that whole movie, for obvious rest in peace Chadwick Boseman reasons, was side characters made main characters. Where like the only real heavy hitter main characters we have left who are super, super active within the narrative really are Thor and the Guardians. And even Thor's going to be off the map for a little bit. So it kind of hit me how like the gravity of seeing them again. Oh, Ant-Man as well. Seeing them again and like the excitement for Guardians, like I know a lot of people have criticized me for this take, but as someone who does not much care for the first half of Guardians 2, I'm surprised with how excited I am for Guardians 3. But I think it's because I think the back half of Guardians 2 might be one of the best MCU movies.
Yeah, I've kind of reached, there's nothing that I can think of coming out soon for the MCU that I'm like rah-rahing about. And that's not because I haven't been loving the MCU. I've loved everything I've watched from the MCU this year, right? She-Hulk is probably my favorite TV show. Probably tied with Moon Knight. I loved Black Panther, right? Thought that movie was beautiful, despite having the worst theater experience of my life. Like, I had to go get theater staff. It was so bad. And I still thought the movie was incredible. Next year we get this Ant-Man. That's the thing. I can't remember what all is coming at this point. Like, I've reached that point of, I know if you put a gun to my head, I could probably lay out the calendar, but I have so much other stuff that I do that I'm like, MCU stuff, it's going to be good.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking forward to what is in store for 2023. Also, I want to do a Phase 4 retrospective soon, before the end of the year, and that'll probably be the last piece of content y'all see for a little bit, while I finish up this move I have ahead of me. But 2023 is stacking up in terms of movies. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, The Marvels, Captain America, New World, or no, I'm sorry, just 2023. Ant-Man, Guardians, The Marvels for movies. And TV is supposed to be What If, Secret Invasion, Loki, Ironheart, and Agatha Coven of Chaos.
See, I am on the whole. I'm more excited for the TV. Right, Secret Invasion sounds like it's going to be right. I'm really excited for Ironheart. I loved. I wasn't on the show for Black Panther 2 stuff because I was busy. All the little Iron Man snippets that we got with Riri and Black Panther made me so happy.
Yeah.
Seeing her do the flew too high up and had to catch herself right before it, so good.
Beautiful.
So
beautiful,
good.
beautiful, beautiful.
But yeah, so Guardians 3 exists, and I'm gonna watch it and I'm probably gonna like it. Maybe I'm mired a little bit by Chris Pratt being Chris Pratt. You know?
Yeah. Also, we got distracted by talking about other stuff. I forgot about a bunch of the announcements from the Game Awards. Diablo 4, Street Fighter 6 as a release date, which I'm excited for. I want to get good at Street Fighter. But something that I want to segue us into our last topic here. We got the confirmation that we will in fact be seeing Batman and Suicide Squad kill the Justice League. We also got the confirmation that this will in fact be the final performance of the legendary Kevin Conroy in the role of Bruce Wayne, aka the Batman. And just again, because of scheduling issues, we were not able to record when the story of Kevin's passing and Jason David Frank's passing. Both. I've gotten the pleasure of meeting Jason David Frank a couple of times. There are a few celebrities who make the con circuit as much as Jason David Frank, whom I have heard not a single bad story about. But also, we have Kevin Conroy, the legendary, most iconic voice of the Batman. So yeah, I tweeted about it. I don't think there's a lot to be said that hasn't been said already about Mr. Conroy or Mr. Frank. Losing them has meant a huge blow to the pop culture, fandom, whatever you want to call it, community. Voices that are legendary, voices that are lost, but voices and icons that will live on forever in the fiction that they helped create in both of their cases. So yeah, I wasn't expecting the irreverent Suicide Squad game to bring this emotional sucker punch.
I'm going to be honest, I forgot the game was happening until Game Awards night, and then saw Kevin Conroy trending, and I was like, oh, I saw Kevin Conroy Rocksteady game, and I'm like, did he somehow work on a full-ass game that we didn't know about, and then remembered the Suicide Squad was a thing that existed?
Yeah. So... very, very happy we get to hear his voice one last time. I was curious because from what I understand, and have read, Injustice 3 is in development, not in any
I also, I saw that this morning or last night, maybe.
So I was very curious as to whether or not how developed development is, and was curious if he did anything for Injustice. And, part of me is, I'm happy that we get to hear one last performance from him. Part of me wishes it would have been under the circumstances of Batman not being a villain. and the premise that we will have to kill Batman, presumably. But all of that to say, I'm happy he gets one last ride and that it's in the can and ready. But yeah, rest in peace to Kevin Conroy and rest in peace to Jason David Frank. So with that, Travis, you got anything else for us, bud? Are you ready to wrap this bad boy up?
That's it.
All right. Travis, where can the lovely people find you, buddy?
They can find me on Twitter screaming nonstop at Travis Political.
Yes, they can.
Jarod.
Yep.
Where?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552, and you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon.
Give me $1.
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Nick Johnson. So there's a StreamYard update. So don't know if you've noticed or not. I'm going to play Nick's again. They like taper out and fade away. Which I don't know how I feel about it. I like especially with the Patreon ones, I like them to just happen and end abruptly. Speaking of, thank you to our other $10 alumnus, Keandre Lloyd. And to Paco, or as he's going, or what he's going by on the Patreon, which is $1.5 billion, baby.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
Last week was a lot for me. It was a collision of worlds I never thought would collide.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was last week.
Or technically 2 weeks ago, I think, at this point.
Yeah, the world moves quickly. And
I will say, and I was proud of myself for this. Whenever Ye went on Tim Pool and stormed off,
yeah.
I tweeted, Ye will be on InfoWars before Christmas. And on December 1st, listen, I'm not even going to begin to try to tackle any of that. Oh my God. That reminds me. So that weirdo kid that stormed the stage at the Game Awards, right?
So I've only seen like people kind of passively mentioning it.
Okay, hold on.
And then he talked about Bill Clinton, which I know that's what your name was referencing.
Well, yeah, this is what he said. So hold on, let me Game Awards kid. This is this whole weird like here. Hold on, let me.
And we create the games we want to create and do our best because of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. There's this fucking kid right here. Oh, not that.
Hey, Matan. Real quick, I want to thank everybody and say that I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi, Bill Clinton. Thank you, everybody.
So I was like, okay, what the fuck happened there, right? As I didn't watch the Game Awards live, I was at my sister's Christmas concert. So I see all of this floating around after the fact. It turns out this kid has like a whole like political commentary YouTube channel. And when he was like 11 or 12, are you ready? Was a guest on InfoWars. He wasn't on with Alex. He was on with Owen Schroyer on the War Room. Now, because I listened to Knowledge Fight, I remember from like a couple months ago, they played a clip from an older episode, like an older Alex Jones show episode, I should say, of a kid who called in and was like, I've been watching since I was super young, blah, blah, blah. But they didn't have an accent like this kid did. And my girlfriend and I were like, what the fuck? Was it maybe that kid? And then we actually watched the clip. Like, oh, well, that kid on that clip didn't have the same accent as the kid that was on stage. That kid was faking an accent on stage. Because I watched some of this kid's interview with Owen Schroyer. Online radicalism, baby. It's a hell of a drug. Also, he was wearing Yeezys. Fuck yay, fuck Yeezy, fuck them all. But yeah, it's a fun note to end on. Like I said, hopefully next week we will have our MCU Phase 4 retrospective out for you, as well as a review of Andor, because we haven't had time to record that either. But yeah, thank you also very, very much for watching and listening. Looking forward to a new year with everybody. New year, new place for me. A whole lot of new stuff in the new year, and I'm very excited for all of it. So thank you all so very, very much. Happy holidays and class dismissed.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.